welcome to Spill the Tea with Mrs. P. I hope you're all okay. I am manifesting summer. The yellow dress is out. I've got my yellow trip drink, blood orange, delicious, if you've not tried them. Come on, it's a gorgeous day. We need this. We need summer to just take hold now. We're ready for it. So today I had to talk about the Louise Thompson podcast. It is all over social media. She was in Made in Chelsea. That's where she sort of started. And I was gobsmacked. I hadn't seen the podcast. I just heard people talking about it at first. So obviously I had to go and watch it. Because I thought she surely can't be laughing about children that are in school where they're not toilet trained. The woman is disabled. She has a stoma. It's classed as a disability. She has been such a good advocate for stoma and mental health, and saying how it's affected her having the stoma. And she ended up with her stoma through a really traumatic childbirth, I believe. Obviously, I don't know the full ins and outs. But she has been so open about her mental health and how it's affected her and her family and her confidence. And I've always thought, it's brave, because it must be such a massive adjustment to your life. I was going to say it must be devastating, and yeah, it must be at first. But the likes of Adele Roberts, who has one, she's got Audrey, she's named hers. I think she is fabulous. I'm a big Adele Roberts fan. She does so much good for the stoma community, and I thought Louise Thompson was as well. And I'm kind of hoping it was a misplaced laugh, if you can do that. And I'm going to try and defend her a little, maybe, because I'm kind of hoping that she just can't be that disgusting. And I like to see the good in everyone, and I'm hoping she genuinely can't be that disgusting. So she laughs at children going into school where they're not toilet trained and they can't eat and drink independently. Now, I know there'll be a very, very small minority of those children who have just not been taught. But I know from experience, speaking to friends and people that I know, that a lot of children who have very severe learning difficulties, ADHD, AUDHD, some children are unable to speak, and they have toilet issues. Okay, they may never be able to use the toilet independently. And why would you laugh at that? These are children that I've seen people going, well, why are they not in a specialist school? Because there's no places. There's no places in schools, in schools that are designed for children with these learning difficulties. You will find, I'm trying to be very politically correct, because I don't want to seem disrespectful to the children or their families that have learning difficulties and are unable to use the bathroom independently, because it is such a massive thing, and I want to be respectful, so bear with me, okay? Because these children, there's no schools places for them. They don't have enough school places, so they are pushed into mainstream school where, there isn't the facilities to look after them. And she's saying, oh, well, I hope these teachers, when they're doing the teacher training, they shouldn't have to spend time on how to change nappies. And yeah, I get all that. But the teachers don't have a choice, just like the parents don't have a choice to put them into mainstream school where there's not the facilities for them. Can you imagine how heartbreaking it is for a parent to know that your child needs that help and needs that support, and it's not there? It's just not there. And we've got someone of her status with her platform laughing. This is a woman who has a stoma. She understands disability. She understands the stigma that goes with it. And she's laughing. Is she off her head? And I see podcasts with people. They'll be having a glass of wine or something. And I've often said to Mr. P, I'm going to do Spill the Tea with a glass of wine on a Friday night. And he's like, no. No, you're not. Because you say ridiculous things when you've had a glass of wine. And I'm not talking about being steaming drunk. I'm talking about after a glass of wine, I do say some ridiculous things sometimes. Hold my hands up to it. So, and that's why I don't. Because I say things that they don't come across how I mean them. And I thought maybe she's had a drink. Maybe a little glass of wine in there and it's come across wrong. And I'm genuinely hoping that there's some defence there for her. And I was going to come on and say, you know, let's try and find her defence for her. But the more I think about it, there isn't one. There's just not. You do not laugh at disabled children. There's no logical reason. And I was thinking maybe she was laughing sort of, it's just a ridiculous situation these people are in. But she's not. She's just going, I can't even tell you what she's laughing at. There's no reason for her laugh. Nothing was funny. We are talking about children who are not prepared and not ready for school. Not through their fault. Not through their parents. These are children that have disabilities. It would be like saying to a child with no legs in a wheelchair, well, can you not just walk there? No, they can't. They're not able to. You can't just say to the child, just go and use the bathroom. They're not able to. It's a bit like someone telling Louise Thompson to just go and use the bathroom. She's not able to. If I laughed at her, I'm pretty sure her and her fiance would have something to say about that. Yeah? And I never would, because it's a disability and it's something that she has to learn to deal with. And these families are doing their best with nothing. They're given nothing. There's no support. If they had support there, these children would be in a school that was adapted for them, that had that facility to help them. But they're not. And if they're not in school, the parents are penalised for it. So what are they meant to do? It must be devastating to be in that situation. And then you've got someone on of her platform laughing about it. And you think, why would you do that? How could you do that? I just think it's devastating. It also shows how screwed up our government is. When you look at the numbers of the amount of children that are in school that aren't toilet trained, that aren't able to eat and drink independently, these are disabled kids, yeah? It shows how screwed up our government is, that we don't have the places for them, that we don't have the facility to be able to help them. I find it shocking. There's no words for it. And instead of people of her on her platform laughing and joking about it, and the fact that she's going, oh, the parents have got too much screen time there, they don't put in the time and the effort. I love that her fiance said, I've been parenting for 4.5 years. Well, aren't you just a fucking parenting guru? 4.5 years? I've got socks older than that. And he's like, I put in the time. I make sure I'm there at mealtimes. Well, bully for fucking you. Okay? There are parents that can't be there at mealtimes. Okay? Because they have to do whatever it takes to get money on the table to support their children. Well, aren't you so lucky that you've been through parenting for 4.5 years? That's shocking. And that you can be there at tea time. What about the parents that can't be? What about the parents that drive to work sobbing their heart out because they know that they're not there for their children? Are they not feeling bad enough? We need someone like you two, the parenting gods that you are after 4.5 years, criticising other parents. Well, that's spectacular. I just can't believe that these words came out of their mouth. I mean, my eldest is 14 and I've got 6 kids. And I don't make out that I'm a parenting genius. I'm like, fucking it up again today. Because we all do. Who are you to criticise another parent? Because you ain't perfect. Because there isn't... My Pinot parenting is all about the fact that there isn't a perfect parent. There isn't. It doesn't exist. We all screw up. We all do daft shit sometimes. The whole point of Pinot parenting is to be together, to support each other. And we've got these two parenting gurus, after 4.5 years, you can tell that annoyed me, criticising other parents, criticising parents of disabled children for not getting them toilet trained. Are you going to criticise the parents of children without any legs for not teaching them to walk? Just curious. Yeah, I do think they need to sit down. I think they need to give the heads a wobble. I think they need to think long and hard about what they've said. how they've said it and why they've said it, and maybe realise that they should have shut the hell up and possibly not put out the podcast. Just my opinion, guys. Hope you're all okay. Hope you all have a cracking day, and I hope summer has finally arrived. All right, guys, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.